to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I've got this Jurassic Park. This is a game I got at auction. Haven't set it up yet. I took this off the glass when I get back because if you don't take them off pretty quick, they become part of the glass almost. So I paid $2,000 for it. This was a last minute purchase. I wasn't really aiming to buy this, and I was standing there and the bidding stalled out. I think I threw out $2,000 and I took it home. So I'm wondering how we did. How I did, I should say. Well, me and Jane and Mr. Django. He's interested to see how this thing does too. It was up and booted. That's about all I know about it. I hadn't even really played it before I bought it. I did go ahead and buy a topper for it. I saw those online pretty cheap. So without further ado, I am going to put this thing together and kind of see what we got, go through it, and hopefully we did okay. All right, so I got it put together here. First thing I saw was it's still got a 3-prong plug. That's usually a very good sign. And then I saw that, so it's been all chewed up, and somebody just wrapped some electrical tape around it. So probably in need of a new plug. And the first thing I saw, well, it's got new rubbers. No. First of all, those are the original flippers because they say Data East on there. Those rubbers are new, but that's only new rubber on the game. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. See those cracks? Yeah. And you see the grime. The game's actually fairly dirty once you get in there and zoom in. Like this rubber up here, if I can get to it, if I can find it zoomed in. There we go. Yeah, that's a couple of plays away from falling apart. So this game hasn't played recently, not very much. And based when I cleaned the dirt off the head. I mean, it was just a lot of dirt. So it's set for somewhere for quite a long time, not being played. So, and the reason pinballs don't get played is because they're broke. So there's something wrong with this. I'd bet money. I'm hoping it's going to boot up. I'm going to plug it in and turn it on right now. Maybe I'll open the back glass if I've got a key. That's questionable. I don't even know if I don't have any keys for this damn game. That's the problem with the auction. Some people, they'll sell the game and they won't leave the key, so I got to drill this thing out. Because I do not. I had a baggie with all the bolts, and if I'd had a key, I for sure would have put the key in that baggie. So, well, I'm going to break into this thing. I've got a pick kit to try to pick these things, but I'm not very good at it. Here goes nothing. That's the way I get them out. And usually, like this is like a 1/4-inch bit. You don't need a big monster bit. All you got to do is drill through, hit that screw on the back side. So actually the smaller bits make it a little bit easier. So now the question is, do we have a key hanging in here for the head? And I'm almost surely not. There might be one laying in here. Oh, fuses. That's always a great sign. It does have a coin box. That's kind of nice. So I may end up routing this game. Well, let me get the glass off the game, and maybe if I open it up, there'll be a key laying in the back. So I got the game propped up here. First thing that just sticks out is like, wow, that's a big-ass speaker. A couple of extra wires hanging. Oh, it's not even hooked up. So it's been disconnected or ripped off or disconnected on accidentally or on purpose. I'm not sure, but that's a big-ass speaker. So we may have some sound issues. Looks like we got a manual, which is really nice. And I had this thing up on end, so there's all kinds of various crap in the back. Looks like a USB dongle, maybe, right there. I don't know. Various pieces and parts. If there's a key, it's in that mess. So I'm gonna try to dig back there and see what all I can find. So here's all the garbage I got on the bottom. An old coil. It may or may not work. A fuse package, another fuse package. This thing was eating fuses. there's a flipper rebuild kit. These are brand new. They never got installed. Here's the 2 springs for it. And I found the 2 bushings for it. And I found one of the coil sleeves. And it looks like maybe they changed one coil sleeve. This looks like an LED thing. So maybe it's got LEDs underneath it. No. Maybe it used to. It's like a LED strip controller. And this is a USB stick, I believe. It says Kingston on it. Yeah, I believe that's what that is. So maybe somebody was updating the code on it. And there's one flipper in the stroke. Oh, the other one's in the bag. So I got pretty much a whole flipper rebuild kit, which is kind of nice. And a little bit of various hardware. Oh, and I found this. That is on the coin door. That's the block out for the bill acceptor. And I was like, I didn't see a bill acceptor on this game. But sure enough, it's got one, which is very nice. I have no idea if it's plugged up or working. Well, it's not plugged in. It's right there. But looks like it could be plugged in. Who knows if that thing works. But anyway, it's good that it's at least got the plate. If I want to get rid of it, I can plug up that hole. So I never did find a key. So I got to get some security bits, take out those 2 screws, and get that out of there. Well, I got in the back box here. Overall, I'd say pretty decent. It does have the batteries, but there's not one iota of corrosion, which is great. That connector there, that's not factory. And it's all burnt up right there. So probably the power supply needs a little work. I was kind of figuring that regardless. I don't see anything else burnt up. Just visually looking at these fuses, they look intact. Yeah. Like I said, it was booted up when I bought it. So I'm gonna plug it in, turn it on, see what happens. Okay, so it's plugged in. Here we go. Smoke test number 1. Well, that sucks. I've got GI lights on the playfield, but not all of them. I've got the GIs on the back glass, and that's it. And a little slight hum. I got no other action. I do not believe I've got any booting at all. Well, that really sucks, because this thing was booted when I bought it. It's set for about 6 months, so just for fun. Well, I guess we'll start with the power supply and go through that. I'll go ahead and check the fuses real quick and check some voltages and see if I can find anything really grossly amiss. Well, I didn't do a very good job walking through this looking at it, because like that fuse was missing. That fuse was missing. I just pulled that one out because it was blown. And more importantly, that one there, I look a little closer, it's pretty toasty looking, and sure enough, that says the 5 amp, or it's a 5 amp slow blow, F6. I don't know what that is. But anyway, that one's also blown. So I've got a lot of blown fuses, so I'm gonna start tracking this down. So I just pulled the fuse out of there, and it says a 5 amp slow blow on the board, and I found this sticker down the bottom, and that also F6, it also says 5 amp, and this fuse was a 3 amp. So I'm gonna replace with a 5 amp slow blow and see where we're at. All right, new fuse for F6, smoke test take 2. I heard the relay click. Thought I heard the relay up here. I heard something else. I heard one of these coils down here lock on. It was weird because it really wasn't booted, and it's kind of, wow. I just moved that with my finger. It's like super sticky. It's kind of making a noise too. Whoa, 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 forest fire. Huh, okay. Yeah, well, that one of those just burnt up. That's probably that coil that was locked on down there below. Definitely that one, it's hot as hell. So that one just lit up. Oh, great. Yeah, this is gonna be a project. That's probably why, well. Where should I start here? Oh, this has a color DMD. They've got the color DMD plug there. That's the thing. When I saw this booted up, it was like, why is it going so cheap? I guess nothing was working. Somebody set it up for sale and they pulled some of these fuses so it wasn't smoking like that. Be my guess. But now it's not booted. So I think what I'll do is I'll pull that fuse back out. I'm gonna get the schematics out, figure out what the F6 does, and then we'll go for that. I monkeyed around with this board in the game a little bit longer and realized I was not making the 5 volts. Just left this plugged in, pretty much everything else unplugged, and I was only getting like 2 volts coming out. So obviously I've got an issue. This plug is pretty much burned up. I think this here is kind of getting around that pin there, but its little brother there is not looking real great either. So I'm just going to go through I'll probably recap this whole thing. That cap right there, I think, is the problem child a lot of times. Oh, that one's kind of bulgy. Yes, some of these little caps right in this area here are problematic, and that one, if you can see that, it's poking out there. So that could be part of the problem. But I think, like I said, I'll probably just recap the whole thing. And we'll check this. Django, quit nodding at me. You want some pets? Yes, he wants some pets. Okay. He gets jelly. So I'm gonna check this and check everything else. I'll just check all these diodes on the top of the board. It's easier to tell where they're at. Looks good. Looks good. Good and good. This is my high voltage over here. I'm not even using the high voltage, so I don't think that matters because it's got that color DMD. Let's flip it over and check this rectifier. Okay, so that. So that looks good. And we want to check this. We want to check this 5-volt regulator here, which comes out to these 3 pins here. Yeah, y'all can still see. Oh, Django's just crying. Not sure exactly what this is supposed to be. I think that's just an LM323. It may not be. I believe they're supposed to get them on 2 legs. Yeah, between the ground and the 2 legs. Let's see which one of these is the ground. If we can tell the ground. I honestly can't tell by looking here. Here, let's do this. Let's see if one of them's got continuity with it. Okay, that's the ground leg. For sure. Okay, so we should have go the other way. Got nothing between the ground and the other two legs. I've only got it between those two legs. One way and the other way, it's like, that seems, I'm not positive this is an LM323. So those two are the same as these two, but there's nothing between the base and so I don't know. Let me get the schematics out and see, make sure that that is the same part. Just flipped over and look, it's 2N6057, but I've got one right here. That's a pull. Huh. Maybe if I get another one that's not a pull. Okay, that one, let's make sure that is. Yeah, from 1979. Okay. Yeah, see, between both those, I think that's bad. That's what I think. So I'm gonna yank it out and see what we've got. So I get this part pulled out here. Let's try it out of the system. Huh? Now it's testing good, so what gives? That's weird. Maybe it's these caps. So the ground is, yeah, it's that one. So it should be these other. I don't quite understand that. Unless it's showing open when I put it in here, unless this little connector is fouled up. Like there's not continuity between here and here or something crazy like that. That seems to be good, and that does too. So that's very strange. I measured this out of circuit, it measures fine. I measured in circuit, it's open. Well, let me recap the board and see if that fixes it. I don't see how that. I can see how that would I can see how that would short it. Having one of these shorted would short it, but I don't see how one of these could make it open. That's what I'm struggling with. But anyway, so I'm gonna cap this and we'll get back in a second. So while I was monkeying around with it, this lead here just popped off, and I wasn't really I was just kind of like barely moving it. And so I think that was the problem, is that lead was just like didn't have good connection. Hell, that didn't really explain why I didn't have connection over here. The other thing was maybe the screw wasn't down tight enough to get the ground between this plate here and that plate right there. I don't know, but I'm measuring the 0.6 or 0.5 between the center and the other two sides now. So I think that's good. So I think I'll put this back together. I may resolder those other two leads while I got this open. If that one's about to fall off, the other two might not be too far behind, and then go through and cap this thing. So I'm in the process of recapping this thing, and I pulled out that bulging one. It's 1025. I put it in my meter here, and it's measuring around 500. So yeah, if it wasn't completely bad, it was definitely on its way out. This one right here, I just pulled out. It had belched out. This one always goes bad. This is the C2 100 20 by 25, but it's like almost every data east I've worked on, that one's bad. And that's what PinWiki says also, so it's not just me. I think I'll clean that up a little bit and get it swapped. All right, I think hopefully I'm done with this power supply. So to summarize, so I put in a new headers there, just that whole connector, because it was all burnt up. Got rid of that little jumper that was off there. That cap there, the one I pulled out, it had belched all its goodies from inside. That one was bulging, so it was about to belch. And this 5-volt regulator, I think it was just not making good contact to the ground side. So those were the three things that I saw. And I reflowed the solder and everything. I got to refuse everything and check the fuses that are in here. And then we'll throw in the game and we'll do smoke test number 3. So before I put this board back in there, I need to replace this connector here. Those two pins, particularly in the bottom, they're toasty. I don't know if y'all can see, but so I got a new connector here because that's gonna almost for sure break when I pull it apart. And that one there goes right there. So I just got to move all these over. I don't have a tool to get the female ones out. The males, I can punch those out. The females, I can't. So I'm probably going to have to cut these and repin them all, which kind of sucks. All right, smoke test number 3. Well, don't see anything, but shouldn't. I don't have anything plugged in except for this one here, which should enable us to measure 5 volts. Let me see if I got 5 volts there. All right, I just measured the 5 volts, so I'm gonna plug in some more things, and I did unplug this header here because I know that one's shorted, and probably the coil down the play field, which is something. It might be that one. That's the one I was saying was so sticky. It looks really dark. I don't know if that's the one, but it's something around here, that area. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the rest of the stuff on this MPU or the power supply and see where we're at. All right, here's smoke test number 4. Hopefully it boots up. Oh, I unplugged it. I wasn't sure if it was plugged in or plugged off. It's probably turned off right now, because I probably just turned it on. Now I turned it off, now I turn it on again here. I think that tripped a fuse right away. That's what it acted like. I bet I don't have 5 volts anymore. I'm gonna go through here and look at the fuses and see what I've got. Okay, so when I repinned this, I had a couple of them. They're supposed to be like the 0.09 something, and I had a couple of them that put 0.08s on there. and they weren't all, so when I pushed it in there, the pins came out, so it wasn't getting the juice. So I repinned this one last time here. I got everything plugged in. So I don't know, we're up to 5 now. Smoke test 5. Hey, we got LEDs over here. That's good. I think this thing should talk right away. Oh, T-Rex is moving. So we got some life. So we're booted because that's doing basically the diagnostics test of T-Rex. We've got no GI lights. Well, the GI lights are not plugged in. We've got no sound. And we've got no controlled lights. So, I guess make sure everything else is plugged in, because I know the GIs are unplugged. Whoa! Now the controlled lights just started working. I don't think it takes that. Maybe it does it. The controlled lights have to go through the test before the controlled lights come on. Maybe. I'm gonna say that's what it is. Okay. We got no sound, and we got no display either. So, well, let's make sure everything is plugged in, because that doesn't look plugged in right there, because that's like a tap for the color DMD, and it's not. Looks like that should be plugged into something. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the way this was done. That looks, maybe that's just an extra. I don't know. Let's see, let's color DMD. I don't see any LEDs glowing. Usually on a modern board like this, there'd be an LED on here somewhere. And I see nothing. Just looking for a surface mounted LED, and I don't really see one. They're hard to see unless they're lit. I think those are right there. Yeah, those are 4 of them right there. Program, so I don't think it's getting power. That plug there, I think that one doesn't get plugged in. That's all the high voltages for the regular DMD. So we still might have an issue with some voltages on this board. Like I said, I've only checked the 5 volts so far. So, I mean, I redid it, but maybe I missed something. So let's start there. I'm gonna check this checker 12 or minus 12. I know I've got the 5. Okay, I confirmed the controlled lights are fine. Actually, I'm gonna plug in my GI lights here real quick. If I can do that one-handed. Control lights, they just take a while to come on. After a T-Rex to go through. So I went ahead, just for fun, I replaced several of the fuses that were blown or missing. That one, I think that one and that one. Anyway, so we'll give it another test, see if we blow some fuses. Pay particular attention right here, see if we see a bright flash. Whoa! Okay, so we got something locked on still. That was the ball kicker. So, I don't know which one of these kicks the ball out, but one of them does. So we got one blown there, we got another one somewhere around here. Actually, that'd be one of the lamps there. Yeah, that'd be the lamp. Well, I think that's, no, sorry, that's lamp drivers. This is, okay, those are pre-transistors and transistors. Sorry, I was looking at those. So those are the big drivers. So it's probably this one here. These are basically the special Williams special solenoids. It could be that. We'll try it again real quick, see if that. Well, try this one. Still. Oh, it's this VUC is what it is. So maybe I go ahead and pull this board off and go through it. I know I've got at least a couple of well, at least that one there for sure is blown. Who knows what else. The lamps are at least mostly working. I don't. Some of the switches I did coin up a game, and I even started a game and it started doing a ball search. So yeah, this is gonna be hard to. I've got so many things fried. I probably like. If you just change the transistor and the coil is still fried, then the coil will fry the transistor and vice versa. So you really need to get them in parallel. But I've probably got multiple. I may go through and ohm all these coils, especially the ones that are toasty looking like that. Geez, where to start? And I've still got I got no sound. And I looked at my other Data East game. I got a Last Action Hero. There's, just to make sure there's no LED. There is no LED on this board. I don't really even see any test points on here. Just trying to. Because this board, this game should make sound like when you first turn it on before the game boots up. This board boots up and it makes like a roar. Or it does make some kind of noise right away, and it's not. So that tells me it's not an issue of. Ooh, that's pinched in the head. So that was me doing that. That's probably not good. I don't think that should keep it from making the initial sounds, because it doesn't need the MPU to be booted to make the initial sounds. But yeah, that's pinched off, so I'm gonna have to get that out of there real quick. So this is the one that's locking on. I thought it might have been this one, but it's definitely this one. I measured the resistance. It's not a dead short, but it's only 1.6 ohms. It's a 23800. I looked on the resistance chart, which is online, and it's not published. These other ones, 23800s, are like 3.5, so it's not completely shorted, but it's about halfway shorted. So I am going to it's possible that it's shorted up through the transistor. That's I don't think so, but anyway, I can desolder it and I'll find out, but I'm gonna get desoldered in any case. So I desoldered it. Now it's 4.2. Did turn the game on and off, and this one here is also locking on, so I'm going to desolder that one also. So after desoldering that one, I also measure almost 4 ohms across there, so I think the coil's fine. Try to turn this thing on one more time, see if anything else locks on. Something else, I don't see it. Jane, can you see what's moving?
What's moving? Your backlights, your headlights.
Not, the lights don't move.
Well, they don't move, but they're flashing off.
You hear the click, 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 it's a coil.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a coil to move.
Get to the game. This pop. That kicker.
Oh, there it is. The Raptor shot. Okay. So this guy here is another one. Okay, so let me, I don't know if I can get that at the bottom, or I may have to go take off some of this top stuff. All right, I got the game plugged in, the game's booted up. Got all my fuses in without tripping a coil. I did finally get that one. So there's 3 coils that were firing automatically. That one, and that one. So they're all desoldered. And still, if I connect that one goes to smoking. Everything else is plugged in. So I've got at least 1 bad transistor and 3 coils. And the coils themselves, I didn't measure that one, but the other 2 measured good. So there's definitely some transistors that are bad on this board. So I guess I got to pull this off anyway. Get rid of these batteries. Probably put in, I think, yeah, 60. So I can just swap that chip with a NVRAM version of 6264 and get rid of the batteries. Real simple. And then I'll have to figure out something about the sound and the display. So I haven't really done anything with that yet. Those could be fun. So I got the MPU driver board out, and so I'm going to start by just taking this completely out, swapping that chip for a non-volatile RAM. For sure that one's coming out. And I'm gonna check all of them, because I know there's probably a couple more that are burnt. I might go to the schematic, if I can't find at least 3, because I know there's 3 coils that are locked on, then I'll go find the 3 coils in the game, backtrack them to where these are. I might do that either way and make sure at least one of them's this one, and make sure I get those swapped. So I checked all the transistors on here. This one indeed tested bad. And there was another one here that was just like, they were all 1.5 and 0.7, the 2 legs, and then this one's like 0.55 and 0.8, so it's probably all right. But I only found the one. And this, I figured this is the ball release, which was not one that was shorted, but it was one that was the one that I was suspicious of, that I thought was very sticky and had a brown label. So that may be a completely different issue. But what I did notice here is a PPD board. All the ones that are bad, I just put an X here. The Raptor Pit, the right Vuck, and the auto launch. And I put the ball release. That's the one that was not firing automatically, but that's all. I also had it unplugged. Actually, I had all of them unplugged from this is from the solenoid drive from the CP drive. So that they were all on that same pin. I believe they were. No, I know that Q45 was. So it was 46 through, yeah, that's the same, that's all the same plug. So they were all unplugged, but these were firing anyway. So I think the problem is on the PPD board, and we also had a problem with that being shorted, and I need to check that coil and make sure that might be shorted also. So for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change that transistor. I might probably just go ahead and change that with that one that I thought was a little funny, and put this back in the game, then pull the PPD board out and then check it out and see what's going on with that, because I think that's ultimately our bigger problem. All right, so I got my PPD board out. I'm gonna kind of go through it real quick here. Just check the dials real quick first. Visually, they all look good. Visually, everything looks good. I hope I find something seriously wrong. All right, those are all good. Do our little pre-diodes here. Those are all good. I think that's okay. That's the same thing. Okay, 0.5 and 0.6. That's what we're looking for. Ooh, bad biscuit. So like this one, I get 0.6 there, 0.5 there. That one I get short. That's definitely bad. There's another bad one. So should find one more. Yep. Okay. Well, those are those 3 coils that were locked on. Let's flip this over and check this bridge rectifier. Well, you can see if you got some resistance across that cap. We do. These are what, 3 ohms? So these are just going to almost be a short. 3. I'll just check them real quick. Well, I got it out. I don't know if I've got 3 of those big transistors. I might have a couple, but I don't know that I've got 3 of them. Let's flip this over, check the bridge. Oops. Switch over to diode mode. Looks good. So I think everything looks all right. I guess I didn't check that one. 2K. Does it say 8K? How am I measuring 8K if it's a 2K? Oh, it's 8.2K. Okay. All right. So I think this is good. So I think I'll reflow the solder on this and swap out those three if I've got them, and maybe that'll get rid of the 3 locked-on coils. So I only had the one in hand, so I was thinking I only had a couple of them, but I only had one, so gonna have to wait on the other 2. But I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in the game and check the ball, not the ball launch, but the ball kicker, and make sure it's not shorted, and see if I can get this thing booted up with everything plugged in. So you just check this coil, and it's measuring 0.2 ohms. It could be the diode. Anyway, I'm gonna unsolder it, and I might check make sure it's not the diode that's shorted, but I bet it's not. I bet it's the coil. So I disconnected it. I even cut the coil and measured the resistance again. It's 0.3, so that's done. I have to get a new one of those. All right, I guess we're ready for smoke test number 6. I still got all the coils disconnected, and this one's gonna stay disconnected until that one. Oh wait, yeah, that one there until I get a new coil, because that one's shorted. Okay, we're booting. Not that you can tell. Well, T-Rex is moving. Wait. Thought I heard sound. It was just the motor. So we still have no sound, and we got no displays. I've got I got them disconnected at the moment, but the sound and the display, I think, should have I know the sound should make a little bit of noise at the beginning, and the sound should make some noise at the beginning, and I believe the display should show a color DMD splash screen. And for sure, it's not. I don't think it's getting the voltages, because it should have some LED status there, I'm pretty sure. So probably a power problem. I probably still have issues up here. It's like that's the power going in right there. It's a tapping off that, coming around and going into right there. So I think that's probably the issue. Maybe there's something common between the display and the sound, a voltage that's common, I don't know. I checked my 12 and my minus 12 up there. I definitely have those. I don't know. Got some progress though. The game's booted. The solenoids are mostly working. Joe is freaking out. He hates Data East games. I mean, with a passion. If I turn one on, he freaks. I think there's a really high pitched whine that he can hear and Django's like, he doesn't care. But little Joe, he absolutely hates. He doesn't really like any pinball games, but Data East. This hadn't made any sound at all except a few knocks and kicks, and he's kind of used to that. But you turn on a Data East of any type, and he freaks.
It's a dinosaur.
It's not the dinosaur, it's the high-pitched whine or something. I think we had on a oscilloscope, like a sound oscilloscope, you'd be able to hear that some kind of noise that the dogs can hear, because he absolutely hates this thing. And all Data East. Yes, well, I think I'll call it quits for this one for the day. I lied, I'm not done for the day. Measure the voltages. That right pin is 5 volts, center's ground. The left has 0.6 volts. Which doesn't seem right. And the left one's this gray and yellow. So, well, this is not a factory wire. So that would go, I probably need to get the schematics for this thing. It's the third one in. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm gonna find out. Maybe this thing over here is labeled. I don't have anything really. I've got like one screw that's actually grounded it. I'm gonna be anxious out and see if there's a label or something so I can see what it's supposed to be. I traced that gray and yellow wire, and it goes to pin 3 of this CN6. It's supposed to be 12 volts unregulated. I measured the 12 volt unregulated right there. I got 12 volts. I'm gonna boot up again. I'm gonna measure there, and I'm also gonna measure pin 3 right here. And maybe I've got it there, but I don't have the other place, or maybe I've lost it. I don't know. I've got my multimeter hooked up to the ground with one lead. So let me see what I've got here. It's 12 volt unregulated, 13.3. I got a pin 3. Got nothing. That is CN6. And that's pin 1 at the bottom. So yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. I've got it up there, but not down here. So I've got a break in the trace in the board or something. I'll pull it off and see what I can find. So that test point I just measured, 12 volt unregulated, and CN6 number 3, they're just a trace directly between the two of them. If I measure continuity between the TP3 and CN6-3, there is no continuity. So there's a break on this board. I don't know where it's at. It's hard to see. I think that's it right. Well, let me get something I can point with. I think that's the trace coming off there, that big fat one through the center. I bet I lost it. I bet I lost it when I put this cap. I'll back it up. It's that big one there, I think. I'll scratch it, and then I can have a place that I can measure continuity between that place I just scratched in the pin. But I bet when I put this cap in, I bet I lost continuity. I bet money that's what happened. That's exactly what the problem was. I damaged that trace, and that side there is the part that goes over to that CN6, and so that whole. Let me show you the back side of the board. This whole thing here is the plus 12 volts, and it wasn't basically taking the 12 volts up to the other side of the board. It wasn't sucking through, so I'm going to put a stitch in here, and hopefully that'll fix it. And I'll go look, and I drilled that hole a little bit better, put a wire from the back soldered to the other side, folded over to this side, so I've basically got continuity between the trace that's torn up on the other side and this trace here, and then put the cap in. And now we'll see if I've accomplished my goal. I should have continuity between there, and I do. Okay. So I don't know if this is going to fix the display and or the sound, but at least I'll have the 12 volts unregulated out of this pin, which for sure I need that. Actually, I got the power supply back in the game. I don't have the ribbon cables hooked up to the soundboard or the display, but I think we should get something. So let's, oh well, I don't, that's got to be plugged into the display. So hang that there for now. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Oh, it's sound, and we got some kind of nonsense. Well, it's working, we just don't have the display hooked up. Awesome, 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 awesome. Let me hook up some ribbon cables. All right, so now I get the ribbon cables hooked up. Yes. Okay. We're like, we could probably put a ball in here and like kind of halfway play. There's several things unsoldered right now. I think there's 4 solenoids that are, or 4 coils unsoldered. But at least one of them we could pick. That one we could put back. And actually that one we could put back. Actually that one's still shorted. So we can't do that one. If you're wondering why that's all crooked, it's because, yeah, it's kind of a hack job, really. The trace of that bottom leg, which goes to this here, it was totally baked, so I had to solder it from the top of the board. And so I left myself a little room by putting it in there crooked. That's why it looks crooked. So anyway, so I think I'm in a waiting pattern to get some more couple of tip 36s. And right down that coil right there. Order one of those, unless I've got one laying around here, might. And then we're ready to go. And this thing, like I said, somebody loved this game. They got a color DMD. It's got the really cool speaker in the bottom. So what we're hearing right now is just these. And I'm a little concerned about wiring. I mean, you can see you still see those wires there where they were cut or broke. I don't know. Maybe somebody, I don't know if that's like warranted. I'll look at my Data East and see my other one, the Last Action Hero. There's probably a speaker in the cabinet, but that's pretty big to be driven by just that. It's possible that board couldn't drive that big a speaker. I don't know. So, but anyway, now I'm gonna call it quits and just like watch Jane work over here. What are you doing, Jane? Y'all want to switch it up here?
Switch it up. Oh.
Jane's been painting.
Yeah.
This thing was absolutely not good. You know, I'll judge it when it gets done. This thing was just like a total disaster. It boots and plays now, and Jane's trying to do what she can with the playfield. I'm sure it'll look great. Sure. Oh my gosh, forest fire.
Oh,
wow. What do you want to bet when I put that in there? I put it in there backwards. I'll bet money. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
we're gonna set off a smoke alarm, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna open the door. Great. All right, so hopefully this is the last smoke test. I swapped that cap out, and I think I got it in the right way this time. And hopefully I didn't tear anything up. All right, I think we're back where we were. A little 5-minute diversion. Anyway, I may just end this video right here. It's been a pretty eventful day, actually. That speaker's working. Yeah, both speakers are working. Maybe I'll play with this. Maybe I'm going to go look in my other game and see what's got at the bottom of it. Go inside my Last Action Hero. It's got a pretty good sized woofer in there. Not near as big as that other one, but you know, doesn't scare me to plug it in. I think it sounds a lot better hooked up. I think I'll put some solder and some heat shrink on these and do it right. I just twisted them up temporarily here. And I think that's gonna be fine. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm just gonna summarize this video a little bit and finish it off. So you all saw I bought it for $2,000. So I probably got I spent most of one day and a couple of hours the next day. So I probably got 7 or 8 hours into it. It's booting and it'll play, except it won't kick the ball out. I just ordered, I don't know, $30, $40 parts. I guess not a lot more for this game. But anyway, I may get a new ramp. This one's a little cracked, kind of smoky. That'd clean up a little bit, but not all the way. And you know, I don't know what the ramp costs for this game. Probably $100, $150. It goes a long ways toward making it a lot nicer looking. The LEDs, they really kind of suck. They're like this style. It is LED'd. I'll probably leave those there because I don't really care on the back glass. It's just got a kind of a, you know, it's not gonna make any difference basically. But the GIs on the play field, I'll probably redo all those. So another $100 in there. So I think I'll come out right on that. I was thinking this was like a $3,800 game. I just looked on Pinside and it's like a $4,500 game. And with the DMD, maybe even a little bit more with the color DMD. So yeah, I think I did all right on this one. I got 2 of the flipper kits. I think I've got another one probably in inventory. So when I get those parts for the PPD board, I'll get this thing put back together and make sure that actually fixes everything. I think it probably will. But anyway, I'm gonna call it quits for this video. And so if you like the video, click the like button and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Cheers.